Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is TJ Duckett here with another Kuma style review, and what we got today is MakeToys' Quantron, which is of course their homage to Transformers Computron. So after you watch this review, if you decide you like it, by all means go ahead and click on the link in the description and buy yours at site sponsor TF Source. And even if you don't like this, click the link anyway, and I'm sure there's something you'll love. They've got all kinds of stuff there. Okay, so taking a look at these guys. We have METALSTORM, Sonic Drill, CELERITAS, BLINDFIRE, and OVERHEAT. Looking at the sizes here, the smallest, I'd say it's about 4.5 inches. Tallest, METALSTORM, is going to be about 7.25 to the head. So lots of different variety in terms of sizes and things like that, just so you guys can get a quick look at what they look like next to some other random bots. Let me see how far we can zoom out here. I'm just using a Salter because of course he's pretty big. Throw their revolver into the mix too. So you can see definitely a good variety of sizes here. METALSTORM is almost as tall as a Salter, where some of these guys are on the smaller deluxe size. So definitely a good range, but in terms of just G1 scale and things like that, they work. If you guys watch the cartoon or own the G1 toy, you'll see that they fit quite a bit to the originals. Alright. Give you guys one more look at them as a group in robot mode. Okay. Before I forget, just the homages. Nose Cone, Lightspeed, Strafe, Afterburner, and Scattershot. Those are the names of the original characters. But what we're going to do for this review, we're going to go through each one of them, take a look at the robot mode, transformation, alt mode, then we'll get them all together, take a look at the guest star mode, and really go in depth with that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this review, and here we go. Okay, and taking a look at BLINDFIRE, which is of course their homage to Strafe. Get things a little bit more focused here, so you guys can see the detail and whatnot. Loving the clear weapons on this. This is one of the few toy sets where the clear really works. Okay. Now in terms of posability and stuff like that, pretty standard. You know, when you get that piston unhinged, he does have waist swivel. I love the double hinge shoulders on some of these guys. The fact that they were able to implement it on the Gestalt too. Okay. Of course, knee bend and not necessarily ankle tilt, but there is some play in the ankles there. Alright, so let me get that foot straight. Just making sure you're still focused here real quick. Alright, now the two weapons here, the way that it goes in terms of just the promotional pictures and the like, you just have the two guns, and of course you can hold them in each hand. Okay, like so. Or you can go G1 with them, and there are holes in the end, like so. Unfortunately, unlike the G1 toy, these guns are damn near as long as him, so it doesn't look as good. You know, they're actually longer than his torso. So now I'll show you guys my favorite option. These actually unpeg from the back here, and they can go into his hands like blades. So you can keep those there. Of course, you can plug the guns back into the side, or you can just go ahead and plug them into the back of the shoulders. But yeah, that's my absolute favorite. I love that. Alright, let's get him into a pretty cool pose there. That's BLINDFIRE. Now, to go ahead and transform him into his alt mode, everything all separated there, you have to turn his head backwards for this cockpit here to flip over and peg in. Alright, there's that. These feet, they have a little peg in at the bottom, so just unpeg those, and they flip around and tab in on the back. So really easy. I was about to say if that gives me problems after I just said it was really easy. Okay. And then from there, everything just slides on up. Make sure that I'm doing it right. Oh, I forgot. You have to have the wings out, and there are these tabs right here. So make sure that everything is sliding into place correctly. Okay. So there we are with that. Now, peg this in. Make sure that these are put in. These just slide right on. They're really tight, so even though you have to give it a firm slide, be careful, make sure that you're sliding it straight. Now with the guns, you have the option of either putting them on the top or the bottom. These two blades are symmetrical. But the official look is on the bottom, like so. And there you go. That is BLINDFIRE's alt mode. And you can see it's a very slavish G1 homage. Okay. There we go. Okay, so taking a look at OVERHEAT. He's already in his, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like a souped up mode where you can attach his two pods over his shoulders here, and these do adjust up and down, in and out. Those wheel wells that they set on as well. He also has his gun there. Okay. And like BLINDFIRE, he does have that piston there that we'll see in combined mode, but you have to unpeg that for him to have waist swivel. Alright, so there he goes. And to show some options with these parts here. Okay, if I remember how to do this correctly. There we go. 1, 2, and then it becomes a hammer. Alright. Okay. Make sure you guys can see. How that looks. Alright. Get his weapon out of his hands here. Just so we can go over some of the basic posability. Wrist swivel. Like I said, you unpeg that piece in the back. Gives him that rotating thigh. Alright. And this does adjust here, so you can give him more bend at the knee. Of course, that ankle tilt. So a really cool and straightforward character. Nice reimagining of Afterburner. I do personally wish that he had a more G1 styled head. That would just put it over the top, especially when you guys see his alt mode. Well, a lot of you guys already have the Tron cycle and stuff like that, but man, I think that would just really top it off. So, okay. Alright, so going ahead and getting this transformed into his alt mode. Trying to make sure I remember how to do this. This one's kind of crazy. So, got to make sure that his fist rotated outwards, and then from there, it splits right here, and you just want to make sure it lines up flush right here. Okay, at the same time, I'm going to put those in. Alright, so we're splitting that, making sure that that sits flush. His head goes in there. Alright. And the tires are kind of funny. There are two pegs on the inside. It's going to be hard to see with the clear plastic and everything. And then there are two holes on this tire. You want to try to make sure that those match up. Okay. With them having the teeth between the wheels, it makes it a lot easier. Alright. And everything does just peg together there. This wheel just goes back. Alright. That's for this part. These two side things, they just rotate up. Okay. You can see everything, you know, fits pretty flush. Now, the funny part with these feet, it's on a, I don't know, this piece is on a peg of its own, but it comes up some and it lets you rotate it. Alright, so this part rotates here and it just stops. Okay. While this part slides up. So, and you can do that in whatever order you want. Keep those down for the time being, but we'll do this one first. It gives you room to do it. It goes out. And then this part, remember, you just got to raise it and then rotate it in. Okay. I think it might actually have to rotate in one more. We'll see. Yep. It rotates one more. That's actually for the combined form right there. So, we'll take that. Okay. Rotate the feet in. And then, so it's going to be a full rotation. So, same line, but just other side. Okay. Alright. Those two peg together. Alright, so you can see the basics of it there. There are two pegs right here. And all you want to do get those in, and they peg in to the fist. Okay. Let me zoom in actually so you guys can see. That's where those are supposed to peg in. Alright. And there we go. And that just stays pegged in. Alright. You can see there are actually tabs right here for the feet to go into. There you go. That is his alt mode. Really cool Tron cycle. Definitely one of the coolest reimaginings I've seen a third party do in general. It does have two rolling wheels in front. This back wheel, of course, does roll. Alright. Now, does have a bit of a souped up mode of its own. This gun has two pegs right here. It just pegs in up top. And then, oops, these two pieces. Peg in. So, there we go. Zoom in on that a bit. Alright, and there you go. There's Overheat. Alright, and here we go with CELERITAS. Obviously, they're homage to Lightspeed. Okay, so just taking a look at his posability here. Ball jointed head. Like BLINDFIRE, he does have that added hinge at the shoulder. Jointed elbows. Now his wrists are kind of funny, just because of the transformation, so he doesn't have a real wrist swivel like the others do. They're blocked by these guards on the forearm here. Ball jointed hips. Make sure that's not attached, and he has some swivel there. I'm actually going to take the guns out. They kind of are what they are. Alright, now to transform them, we take these pieces off the bottom of the guns. Just attach them here. Okay. So with this, we just rotate. Make sure the head's facing inwards. Rotate so the combiner port is facing up. Rotate here. Alright, so once you get these configured, you gotta loosen those out. These forearm pieces here actually twist out. And they go behind, like around the back. And then you bring the elbows in. Yeah, this is a really just... And then those forearms right there, they twist. So let me focus in on that. Alright, so getting those bent over, twist them over. This is basically what you got. Alright, everything tabs together. Whoops. Then pegs into the front there. Alright. Now as for the feet, alright, from there, these back parts, geez, that pegs in really tight. Bring them back. bring them back. Now these feet have a hinge underneath. You just turn the feet in, bring them up. Feet in, bring them up. Forward, forward. Okay. Now we've got this half ready to go. Just bring those two crotch halves in. These rotate around. And then they peg on each side. So make sure to peg these in up top as well. There we go. For added measure, you can go ahead and peg in the guns for storage. That's overheat. Alright, now we're taking a look at Sonic Drill. Give you a quick turnaround. Even though METALSTORM's my favorite, I really think this one has the best look. I want to zoom in. Take a close look at his head sculpt there. Very G1, and it has a little built-in scope too. Let me see if I can turn his face, scope and visor. And it's not just molded into his face, it's actually a separate piece that goes over his eye and stuff like that. It's really cool. Alright. Now before I forget, he does have a couple of gimmicks. You can attach the drill here, if I can get it off. There we go. Onto this piece. As well as he has one of these on each side. So there are his additional claws. They just fold out like so. Now the little hands don't open or anything like that, but they're pretty neat. So there's that, and you do have some options with how you play with it and fold it, things like that. Get his feet more on the ground. Okay. Show you guys how to attach the drill. Alright, in here, see if you can see it. It's hard without lights, but these actually slide out. So you just take your finger, slide them out. Make sure that they're slid on both sides so you can get as much space as possible. Okay? And then from there, all you do, you take this, and there's a little notch in the gun here. Take it and slide it through. It's not as difficult to do as it's looking right now, but of course I'm on camera, so everything's hard. Alright, and there you go. And if you don't have it split enough, sliding it through that piece will actually help it open up more. Alright, so there's that. Take a good look at how he looks with the drill arm attached. Make sure you focus there. Now the posability and stuff like that, pretty standard. Let me take this piece off actually, make it a little bit easier. And then to fold it back up, just reverse, fold it. Oops, you gotta fold it twice. And then snap it in. But okay. Posability. Swivel at the elbow, not the bicep. It's kind of deceiving. because it looks like, you know, being a separate piece and all, but you can see behind the clear red that it's actually a block underneath there too. So, and I love that they implemented this extra shoulder swing here. Alright, looking at the waist here, really good bend at the knee, of course ankle tilt, and he does have some ab crunch there if you want to use that, but overall pretty cool. Alright, you can attach this if you want. I'm just going to leave it not attached, but to transform him back into, not back into, that drill mode. Alright, so this all separates. That's a hinge. Turn this around at the waist. Alright, now this front of his chest flips forward, the head goes under, yeah, bring this part up. That's the connector port again. Alright. Now with the arms, there are pegs on the fronts of the forearms. We're going to undo the guns. They just go down. Rotate the hands, bend those in. Alright. And just an FYI guys, I did not have instructions. This is a finished sample, but still a sample. Alright, see what we got there. Now this back side, these back pieces, we can just swing them through. And you can see here kind of where it's supposed to go. Alright, now there are pegs right here on the side. They just tab into these side arms here. Got those. Now, here's the fun part. The feet, let's bring it back in. Alright, now with this crotch piece here, gonna flip it inwards. Rotate those. Alright, and it all kind of just pieces itself together. There are pieces that tab in on the sides right there, and of course these two side pieces tab in as well. So, boom. And that's the nice part, not having instructions, that they make everything really easy to kind of guide you through. Now, like right here, there are indents, so you just take the two gun sides, the undersides of the guns, tab those in, make sure everything's in and correct. Okay, and there we go. Just go ahead and slide this back. And this is adjustable, of course. Now these two pieces here, they tab in. Alright. And I'm just making sure everything's pretty square. Those come forward. And there you go. There is Sonic Drill's Alt Mode. Really nice homage to G1's nose cone. I love that the drill spins. And there aren't, unfortunately, any rolling tires or anything like that underneath. But at the same time, you do have to remember that that's also where they store the gimmick arms. Well, there you have it. Right, here's the big guy, METALSTORM. Well, give you guys a good look at him. And this backpack is heavy. There's a lot of space in between. I'll get a side view here. In between the front and back of his foot, but this backpack's still pretty heavy. There are actual metal pieces and stuff like that in there for the arrow, so weighs it down a bit. His knees are very strong, but you really have to find that right spot. You know what I mean? Really make sure he's set in place when putting him in a pose and stuff. But once he's there, he's solid. Okay? And the backpack, of course, is removable. That's what it looks like without. But this is just a beastly figure. What they were able to do with Scattershot, it's not like the G1 toy even was small, but this is crazy. In terms of weapons, he does have the 2 rifles there. One of them has an extra piece, which attaches to the combine mode. Okay. Now, the only combiner kibble that you have are the feet. Zoom out here. The feet actually store the fist in here. But if you want to go ahead and store those, all you have to do is they have little clips on the side of them. You can choose either the top or the bottom. It doesn't really matter. You just might want to make sure it's even for both sides. But they go right there. Okay. And those clips do rotate, so you can rotate them manually, or you can clip them on first and then oops. Okay. So there's that. And it might be something to remember for the future, because I looked at their pictures of Guardia, and it looks like it has the same setup, so that's how that would go. I don't really feel like messing around with balancing them too much, so I'm going to take a lot of that extra stuff off. Alright. Alright. So to look at some of his posability, I'll actually take the big arrow piece off. And he's got plenty. Lots of shoulder swing. Actually double jointed elbows, which is nice because of these big rifles and stuff. Alright, of course, waist swivel. Really strong. Ratchet and hips. And of course, these are the same hips used for the combined mode too. But just plenty of posability. We'll actually put him into the Iron Man pose there. Alright. That photographable moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this guy transformed. The nice part about all of these transformations is that they're pretty much the first step towards getting them into combine mode. So it makes things really, really easy. And that is a tight fit there, so that's what it is. Okay. So this all just slides up. Okay. These arms, you take that double jointed elbow, but you kind of slide them forward like that. Put these in, rotate these down, put this in, rotate that forearm piece down, and they just rotate inwards. And what's really cool about this is that you can start to see the combine mode forming. Okay. And as you can see, we shouldn't have rotated them in, so that was my fault, because you have to rotate these in, and they do peg in place. Alright. Make sure those fists are rotated all the way up, because they should be touching, but they're not. There we go. And they just peg in. You can already see that that's in part the combine mode there. Alright, and from there, everything just swings back like so. It actually locks at these wings. There are pieces here that tabs on the wings just slide into. Okay, so there's that part. Now of course we have this, the cockpit area. Slide this piece out. Alright, now for this piece, you slide it in the exact same way you do when it's the backpack, and then it just tabs in up top. We're actually going to raise the camera up, bring it down, there we go. A little bit of nose cone, but just to give us something better to display it on. Oh, actually, and this is not ideal. This is actually a Tamashi Act 4 stand. You're gonna want something like the flight stands. Like, you'll find those online. They're called like flight pose flight stands or something like that. This is not good. It's definitely one of those things to kind of get the job done until they come in. Right now they're out of stock, or else I'd have them myself. Alright. So here it is. There's METALSTORM. Forgot to put these forward. Okay. Now with the head, you can turn it backwards, tilt it up, whatever you want to do. Adjust that. But really cool G1 homage. Now, what's nice is that you can take some of this kibble and actually add it on. And what I'm doing, I'm actually going to make sure both of these are straight so that they're easier to put on. But you want it on the bottom half of each side. So, like this, put over here, but just to show you, pin up the wing here, and then this is going to be hard to keep on, but from there, you just tap it in. There we go. And when you've got it already straight, it's easy. There you go. Adds a bit more to it. See if I can get it back on there well. Yeah! Alright, and there's a bit of an overdrive mode for METALSTORM. It's really cool. These are actually supposed to be out. Okay, there we go. There's METALSTORM.